Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. We are joined again with Dr. Nick Abraham.
And the coffee cup.
You know, last time you were here, you said I needed them.
I love it.
And you were talking about this, and we had both. Has it been that long?
It's been too long, Whitney.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Well, it's called I'm Limping Very Well, thank you. How did the title come about?
The last article that I wrote, because you know it's a series of articles that I wrote in Reflections. The last one I wrote was about my struggle with depression about 15 years ago. And I just remember as I was writing it, as I came to the end, I realized that I'm going to always be limping or bruised or wounded. That there are just scars in life. And I thought the whole notion of limping was really kind of a neat way to say that we're all kind of a little bit broken, not damaged, but we're a little bit kind of off. Life throws us off the bike. You know?
And I heard something one time. It said we are real because of our brokenness.
Wow.
People can relate to us
Yes.
more. That makes us human.
Yes.
We're all broken in some
Yes,
ways.
and I don't know that you were around in the 70s when Henry Nouwen was a great Catholic psychologist priest, wrote one of his greatest books was called The Wounded Healer, and was saying that we really can only help from our own woundedness, from our own experiences, which is what this book is so much about. I don't talk that professionally. I talk from a lot of personal experience, which I think is important. Vulnerability is important.
Sure, sure. And to be able to express that can be rare sometimes.
Can be rare, yes.
And that people can't
absolutely
show their vulnerability.
Absolutely. And I thought you were going to say it can be dangerous, because I don't want anything that I ever say to be always about me. It's about helping somebody else. But you help someone by saying, I understand. I've been depressed, I've had pain, I've had broken relationships, I've had obsessions, I've had compulsions. It just resonates at this time of year that it's okay. Families getting together at Christmas. We don't know what it's going to be.
That can involve a lot. Well, back to that real quick.
Okay.
Someone once said, and I thought it very wise, I don't know that it's completely true, but the two most important words in the English language are...
I don't know.
Me too.
Me too. Love it, Whitney. I may have to write an article on that for the next book.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. That's great.
So we talk about limping. I love the visual.
We talk about limping
because we're all have some sort of a limp.
And the book cover was actually designed. The graphic designer did this. Did it after she wrote the book, but didn't do it for the book. Just felt inspired, and I said, I love that. I want that for the front.
I do too.
But it's
all about struggles. I mean, Nikki writes beautifully, very uplifting, very hopeful, it's everything, really.
There are a lot of articles in there about self-development, about joy, about living in the now, about working through your strengths, not your weaknesses, making good choices, discernment. There's some in there about what technology is about, how we can use it and it not use us. I talk about the whole notion of how do we deal with violence, and violence starts very much in the home, and that we need to start there, and just verbal violence and how we talk to people. But you're right, a lot of it, hopefully it's inspirational.
Yes, I'm certain that it would be. But I have to ask too, because there seems to be a writer in a lot of people, and some people are going to want to know, how did you publish your book?
Yes.
And how did you discipline yourself enough? Because, I mean, he's a musician, he's a counselor, I mean, you do a million things, and yet you were able to get this done.
I have always wanted to write. And I remember when I was working on my dissertation, I got scolded very often from people in the professional academic world, no offense, that I didn't know how to write well. And after I finished my Ph.D., I started realizing I'm not an academic writer. I am a conversational writer. So I started writing out of my own, again, gift, what I thought was a gift.
It is.
And so what I would say to people who are watching, just start writing. You might be a research writer, you might be a biographer, you might be a storyteller, you might want to just, again, journal your own experiences. And then I always did, though, like grammar. I have to say. I always liked grammar. I have an editor, but I think for the most part, I'm able to kind of lay it out. But even there, again, conversational writing is great, Whitney.
It is.
Because when you're reading, you're feeling like you're with the person.
I think it's a gift. I think it's my favorite writing, frankly.
It really is. And I would say again to people, write. Just write. And there are always ways to publish. I had that published through Amazon.com.
Did you really?
Create Space is the name of it, createspace.com. Free, that you just send them the copy ready to go, the book cover ready to go. They print and produce on demand so that people can go to Amazon.com and buy the book if they want to. I'm just saying that's where it is.
Yes.
Or to my site, nickabraham.net. But anybody can publish.
I didn't
My
know that.
19-year-old niece just published her first book on Amazon.com.
So what does it cost does it depend on how many copies you get and all those type of things?
Well, the cost is in getting it edited, laid out, and designed. See, if you get somebody to do that, and then you just simply send that in to Create Space, it costs nothing. They do it. And then I think it's like maybe X amount of book they charge me, for that. But it's not, and it saves the writer from having to put up $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 and have 3,000 books published.
And have 2,500 left over.
And have 2,500. Sydney Joy Reid could right now write and create a book, publish a book. You could publish a book.
That's fascinating.
My life as an anchor.
That's
my life as a mother. My life as a friend. My life as a beauty. My life as a model. My life as whatever. See, you could just go on and on.
I wasn't the last two, but, but
I
guess you could say you're anything you wanted to be.
You
right?
weren't a model? Oh, I thought you were.
Oh,
well, you were Miss Ole Miss, whatever you were over at Ole Miss. Merry Christmas, Whitney.